There are many ways to shorten that backlog of games, but which one is most effective? I know you're a super busy person who has a lot of important things to do, like moderating on Reddit. Now, with all my findings, I've come to the conclusion that the most effective way to decrease that backlog of games is to prioritize. Now, what do I mean by prioritize? What I mean is that it's actually important to have a list of all your games. As Arnold said, you might have the best boat in the world, but without a destination, you're just going to float around aimlessly. Now, what I recommend doing is going on your phone and going onto Notepad and writing a list of all the games you have. I would use this format. This is the format I use, and it makes everything very simple and very straightforward. At the top of the page, I would put all the games I'm playing at the moment. I keep this to a maximum of two games. One game on one console, one game on the other. There's a reason why I do this, but I'll tell you later. Next, I put the console's name and then all the games I want to play on it, such as Switch and then Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda, and so forth. Then I do that for every console I own. I tick it off as I go, and the nice thing about that is once you tick it, it doesn't disappear, so you can always look back. I always like to add a date as well when I complete it, so I can look back and say, oh, I finished Black Ops last June or something. Now, there is another option, but I wouldn't recommend this as highly. You can use apps such as Game Track and Cartridge, but I find them to be a bit too much. First, you got to make an account, and then you got to follow people, and then you got to message people, and then you get a million notifications a day. All I want to do is just track games. And here's the other thing, Game Track has a monthly subscription which you can subscribe to. Why would you want to pay to just track games? In what world would I want to pay someone to just keep a list of my games? Like, what does Game Track think they're doing? Curing cancer? All they're doing is holding a list. So I would use Notepad as it's free, completely free, and it's just simple. The Game Track and all that is just too complex. You can follow people and like people. Why would you want to do that? You want to track games, not have a goddamn social media. Now you know what games you've got, it's time to start playing them. Now, as I said earlier, I recommend playing 2 games at a time, one from each console. The reason for this is that it keeps everything fresh. The amount of times I hear play 1 game at a time, play 1 game at a time, it just doesn't work. Do you know why? Humans don't want to play 1 game at a time. We like a little mix. Now, having a little mix can be very dangerous, as that's how you get a backlog of games. As you get bored and then move on, get bored, move on. That's why I would keep it to 2 games maximum. So 1 from each console. This is because I have a Switch. What I play on my Switch is very different to my Xbox. So when I'm on the go, I play a different game on my Switch. This keeps everything nice and straightforward, as if you play 1 game at a time, you might come up with the dilemma that you've just gone on holiday and you're with your Switch, which doesn't have Call of Duty on it. Now, one thing I will say is don't 100% games. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because it can actually wreck gaming for you. I know people who have to 100% a game to completion before they move on. This can be very tedious and wreck the game for you. Just play the basic story and do some extras. You can occasionally do 100% a game, but sometimes it's just not worth it. Especially games like Assassin's Creed. You really want to collect all those feathers. Now, the other thing is, I could give you all the methods in the world, but if you don't stick to it, then you'll never complete them. Now, it is very tempting to play all these games that you own. It's very tempting, but just stick to 2 games at a time. It's like at the moment, I'm playing Breath of the Wild on my Switch and Black Ops 1 on my Xbox. You see, that's got a nice little, well, very big difference. But that's what you want, a nice little contrast. Problem with people, they do too much of a contrast and then they never complete games. And just like me, you end up with a massive backlog. But what's the point of having a backlog? You don't want to have a backlog, you want to have completed games. And the other great thing about not having a backlog is when the new one comes out, you can actually go and play it without having to play the first one first. So, for example, God of War Ragnarok. When that came out, I had to go and replay God of War because I never actually finished it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, you might enjoy this video. Now, this video is about my gaming backlog, and you'll get to see what I actually own and how big my backlog is. It's fairly big. So I'm not talking from unexperience here. And if you did enjoy, please consider subscribing and join the Insta Army today. And I'll see you next time. See ya!